there, everyone. It's Christine Arylo here with your weekly love letter. And I am so happy to be here today talking with you about love. Specifically, how do all of us actually have the loving, respectful relationships that our heart and soul really desire, right? One of the foundational promises of self-love is, I only have loving, respectful relationships. Go ahead and say that out loud. I only have loving, respectful relationships. I took that vow 10 years ago myself. It's one of the foundational vows in choosing me before we. And I have to be honest with you all, when I first took that vow, I was not so good at the respectful relationship department. I didn't really know how to have them. I was used to fighting and drama and, just things that were not always respectful, especially in times when I felt like I was being threatened or I could be hurt or rejected or, whatever, controlled, that kind of stuff. It's really easy to slip into behaviors and patterns that don't actually cultivate respectful relationships. And then I was really fortunate. I met a man I call Walking Love. His name is Noah. Many of you have met him. You're going to meet him here in just a second. I'm actually videoing this to you from the house that we're going to be living in for the next 3 months. This beautiful home on a winery here in Sonoma, California. And it's actually just probably 2 miles away from an ashram that Noah and I visited after we got married. And we sat with one of our spiritual teachers at this ashram, and for like $25, he gave us the best advice, the mantra for our marriage. We put a little money in the box, went and sat in front of the guru, and he said to us, our love mantra was respect. And he tied this little red string just like this around both of our wrists. And so for how many years now, Noah, we've been married? 8? 7, 8, something like that. Plus the time that we knew each other before, we've been practicing respect in our relationships. And not just in the relationship between Noah and I, but I've had to actually practice it in my business partnerships, in my relatives, with friends. And so today I thought I would share with you 3 of my favorite tips, the things that I learned that I never really knew, well, maybe knew but wasn't very good at them, of how to make sure that you're having respectful relationships. Because here's the thing, if you want to be in respectful relationships, you actually have to give respect. And that doesn't mean being a doormat. That means some things that are just big no-nos that you don't do. So Noah and I, Noah, will you come and share? Come on. Okay. So we're going to share 3 of they're kind of the biggest no-nos. And so you don't do these if you want respectful relationships. I'll start.
You go first.
Okay. Number 1, no swearing, no name calling, and no talking smack. So this means, and this is for every relationship in your life, no calling someone a bitch, an asshole. Sometimes you can use the word jackass. I don't think that's really swearing.
That's really swearing.
Oh, he knows way better at these rules than I. But, sometimes I'll say it in a little fun way. Not like, you're a jackass, but it's kind of like, that's a really jackass thing to do. Also probably still breaks the rule, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I break the rule like 10%, so I'm still learning. He never breaks the rules.
I don't ever break that rule.
That rule, exactly. And no talking smack is when the person's not around, you don't say bad things about them. Because that's not respectful. And, of course I would never do that with Noah, but I have to say, with like my sister or certain friends, in the past, I could totally have gone to that place. So really watching your language. No swearing, no name calling, and no talking smack.
Okay, number 2, and I consider this one to be a lifesaver. No, I mean no ancient history. Nothing more than 3 months old. Because do you know what people do? They start arguing about one thing, and then they figure out that they're losing. You know what they do? They reach back into the past. Sometimes decades, to grab something to beat you up with. It's just not fair. Argue about what you're arguing about. Don't bring in something new. You already have enough problems by going to the past.
And tell them about. So this is what's going to get you all. Tell them about what ancient history means to you. No, you can't bring up anything
older than 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Even 2 months is kind of danger zone because you have to look at why you're doing it. But once you're into like 3, 4, 5 months ago,
or 3, 4, 5 years. So like if you're in a relationship, like a mate relationship, you can't be like, that one time when you left me at the party or you weren't there for me, which is like a decade ago or a year ago. You got to leave it there because as soon as you bring that in, that's not respecting the person. You've already gone over that. And even if you haven't gone over that, that is not going to create more respect in your relationships.
No, it's just make things harder.
Yeah, so give up ancient history and using that as a tactic in your fights. Now, number 3 is no hitting below the belt.
This is my favorite rule!
Noah's favorite rule because Christine used to be really, 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 really good at this. In my former relationship, not the one with you, but with my ex-person, and for those of you that have read Choosing Me Before We, you know what I'm talking about. We were like, they used to call us the War of the Roses. Did you know that about me and my ex-person?
I did not.
Yeah, we were professionals at hitting below the belt. And I know that you are in relationships, be it friendships or partnerships, romantic, or even with your mother or your father, where you know exactly which button to push. And it ain't a button up here. It's a button that you're going to go and it's going to just jab them.
And here's the thing, is if you are the person who's getting hit below the belt, you have 2 choices. You can hit below the belt too, and then it just all heck breaks out. It just turns into
so
just
what do you
total
do? So
chaos.
sometimes...
Or...
Wait. So we don't hit below the belt, but sometimes I get close. I don't have him just above the belt. So what do you do, just to give them a little nugget, what do you do when I come at you, and I never hit below, but I maybe just right there, even before we were getting dressed for this video, I made
She told me I have terrible taste. She said I have terrible taste.
I didn't. I said I had better fashion sense.
Which means I have terrible taste.
And you looked at me and you said,
how do you think that makes me feel?
And I said, I don't think that makes you feel very good about yourself.
What good does that do you, and what good does it do me?
And I was like, I don't think that creates any good. And so, in respectful relationships, I had to hear him be able to say that, but you don't do things that aren't going to create good. And sometimes that's harder. And obviously Noah and I, we have the commitment to respect. And in some relationships, that can be a lot harder. I'm going to talk to you about that next week, what to do when you are in a relationship with someone who isn't willing to partner with you and lean into respect. But for this week, I want you to choose one of those 3 that you're going to stop doing. Either you're going to stop name calling, swearing, and talking smack. 2, you're going to give up pulling an ancient history. Or 3, you're going to give up hitting below the belt or even on the belt.